Hi, I'm Niklas Hallin and this is the Neckbolt Dev blog. Today I'm gonna start off a little mini-series on character design. But before I do that, I'm gonna have to talk a little bit about Aristotle.
Yep, that Aristotle, old Greek guy, you may have heard of him. One of the things that Aristotle worked on was his 10 categories of being. And they are basically 10 different types of properties that an object can have. Take me for example. I live in Sweden, that's in the category of place. I make video games, that's an action. And I am currently sitting down, that's position. And then there is the first and most important category, substance. My substance is that I am human. On the most fundamental level, I am a human, and it is this substance that can then acquire the accidental properties of where I am and what I do and how many Pokemon games I have played. Now, we don't really see the world like this anymore. We would say that on a fundamental level I am not human at all, but rather a conglomeration of millions of atoms and molecules jumbled together. But Aristotle did not believe in atoms. There were atomic theories around in his day, but he thought they were ludicrous. Because Aristotle did not think that vacuum could be a thing, and without a void, it's really difficult to get atoms to make any sense. So instead, Aristotle figured the world was made of substances. If we were to make a periodic table in Aristotle's system, human would be on there, and so would tree, presumably, and indeed elephant. But no matter how well this theory holds up scientifically, it's certainly a good system for talking about the world, if nothing else. Which brings me to character design. Because I think it's very important to start with a character design on the level of substance. You have to begin by defining what a character is. And you might say, well, it's a ninja, a fierce warrior, or a space pilot, or an explorer, or a chef. But here's the thing, those are not substances. They are all professions, they are things that you do, they are activities. To find the substance you have to go deeper. Is it a goblin? Is it a minotaur? Is it a robot that can turn into a car? In the elephant game I have taken the idea of substance design to an almost ridiculous level. The main character in this game is an elephant and almost nothing else. He has some more personality traits. He's a little bit naive, but he's eager to help and he's very concerned with doing his very best even if the tasks seem daunting. But these are really narrative traits and they don't come across very much in the visual design. That doesn't really matter though, because the substance of the character comes across strong and clear, and that's enough to be intriguing. In my previous game I had this girl. She too has several personality traits. She's curious and cheerful, and she's a bit humble in the sense that she's satisfied with her role in life and she's not very interested in making grabs for more power and riches. She has a habit of giving cute nicknames to furniture and decorations in her surroundings. But below all that, below all her accidental properties, she is fundamentally a reanimated Frankenstein corpse. And that's what you see when you look at her, and that's what will make her stand out in your mind. I'm going to close this episode by bringing up a theme that will be explored more in the next one. And by the way, I will keep talking about substance for the next 3 episodes or so if you're feeling a bit confused, hang in there. So the first example of substance I gave today was human. Now, it's perfectly okay to just say that your character's substance is human. In fact, in many games it's very appropriate, not to say vital, to have human characters. Life is Strange would be very strange indeed with space aliens and sweaty gnolls, and the whole impact would be lost. But personally I like to avoid making characters that are entirely human, mostly because it strikes me as a default choice that you just kind of passively end up with if you don't question it. I want to keep making elephants and zombies and robots and all sorts of imaginary creatures that, instead of being human themselves, explore the human condition from new perspectives. Before we go, let's take a few moments to introduce the new weekly Wednesday report. This week I finally sat down and completely remade the rig and all animations for the elephant, fixing a whole lot of problems that have been with me since the start of the project. Now I'm using this skeleton texture to show the difference in how the body deforms when you run. There are actually a whole lot of different color variations to customize the elephant with. Other than that, I have mostly been fixing small issues that came up as I was presenting the game last week. For instance, a whole bunch of doors stopped working for some reason. That is all for today's episode, but stay tuned for next week when we'll continue talking about designing intriguing characters. This whole project is funded via Patreon, and if you want to help out, it would be super cool if you could head over there and subscribe. Your contribution is what makes this game possible. You can also subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitter for quick updates. Thank you, and I will see you next time.